Right now, the Democrats are desperately trying to pin all of the problems with our healthcare system on Donald Trump and the Republicans. However, of course, history is against them because we all know that Barack Obama and the supposedly Affordable Care Act is the very thing responsible for these issues. So what we're going to see today, of course, is Hakeem Jeffries, otherwise known as Dollar Store Obama, trying to do exactly what we're talking about. Blame it all on the Republicans and Donald Trump. However, it's not going to go the way he wants because we're going to have Representative Foxx and Representative Tom Cole putting him in his place. So before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
During the longest shutdown in American history, the Trump Republican shutdown, what we've seen repeatedly from our Republican colleagues who here in the House were on a taxpayer-funded vacation for more than 7 weeks, welcome back, is that Donald Trump has done everything but try to actually make life better for the American people. He somehow has found $40 billion to bail out his right-wing wannabe dictator buddy in Argentina, putting Argentina first, but not the American people first. And so Whip Clark and myself, on behalf of the House Democratic Caucus, believe that this amendment to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for tens of millions of hard-working American taxpayers is actually designed to put the American people first. And we're hopeful that our Republican colleagues will join us and abandon the reckless policies that you all have pursued in creating this Republican healthcare crisis.
I have been astonished to hear our colleagues say that this Republican healthcare crisis was manufactured by President Trump. I mean, I'm sure if I asked the clerks to read that back, that's what they say. Would you refresh our memory as to what created the Affordable Care Act and how did we get here as a result of what happened during COVID? Would you mind doing that? President Trump was not in office in either of those cases. Is that correct?
That too is correct, Madam Chair. I'm trying to limit how much time I use, how outrageous some of the statements I've heard are. The reality is this goes back to a fundamental defect in Obamacare itself, which is constantly, the Affordable Care Act has made health care unaffordable. It's been doing it for 15 years. The basic subsidies are in law. Our friends on the other side during COVID decided we've got a crisis underway. We're going to add a subsidy on top of a subsidy.
The subsidy to what was called the Affordable Care Act, which was never affordable because we taxpayers who pay for our own insurance were subsidizing, correct?
That is absolutely correct. So again, it's a subsidy on top of a subsidy. Our friends added it during COVID. COVID is over. They set a date certain that these subsidies would run out. They chose the date.
And the date certain was?
December 31st of this year. So they chose that date. By the way, they did it without any Republican votes, without any consideration of reforms, without any effort to hold down the price. I mean, they literally are the big insurance companies' best friends. They funneled hundreds of billions of dollars into these things. But again, this is their legislation. They wrote it. They extended it. They added a subsidy to it. And they set the date at which that subsidy was to run out. President Trump certainly wasn't president when either the original legislation was created or this additional subsidy was added. So to blame it on him instead of looking in the mirror and blaming it on yourself is the height of hypocrisy. Yeah, this is a Democratic manufactured crisis that they're blaming on everybody but themselves. And at the same time, as they're doing that, they've decided, well, I guess we don't need to pay our men and women in uniform that are defending us. Thank God President Trump twice has pulled rabbits out of a hat and made sure that didn't happen. Or we're not going to pay our air traffic controllers or our meat inspectors or our Capitol Police that they celebrate so constantly and rightfully. So, I mean, come on. This is a totally manufactured crisis by Democrats. They've kept the government shut down. Finally, in the United States Senate, 8 pretty courageous people said, I'm not going to be part of this charade anymore. I'm going to vote to open the government. We can negotiate on these other issues. Majority Leader Thune, our own speaker, made it clear we're willing to do it. We're not going to, by the way, sign off on something that has been an utter disaster. And what the Democrats basically have asked for here is like $1.5 trillion over 10 years in exchange for a 4 or 7 week CR, or now one that will go a little bit longer since they've wasted most of the time. So, I mean, we shouldn't have any doubt about who created the crisis, who's perpetuating the crisis, and who's trying to capitalize on it politically.
That is exactly it. As Representative Tom Cole points out, the Democrats own this issue, right? There are no Republican fingers in Obamacare. There are no Republican fingers in the subsidies that were extended during COVID lockdowns, okay? All of this is completely owned by the Democrats. But what's the first thing that Hakeem Jeffries says? He comes out and says, oh, this is the Donald Trump shutdown. This is the Donald Trump health crisis. He hasn't done anything to try to help the American people. However, Hakeem Jeffries conveniently leaves out the fact that Democrats are the ones who refuse to vote to open the government, right? So therefore, they're the ones who didn't want to fund SNAP. They're the ones who didn't want to fund healthcare. They're the ones who didn't want to fund the air traffic controllers, all right? It's all on the Democrat shoulders because as we saw over the last several weeks, repeatedly, Republicans voted to open and Democrats didn't want to, okay? Because of course, you had to have the No Kings rally and you had to have those off-year elections, okay? But now that that's over with, what happens? Oh, right away, they turn around and vote to reopen everything. So I guess they finally got what they wanted. However, I love the way that Representative Foxx and Representative Tom Cole both put this, okay? Obamacare is the subsidy already. Okay, we tend to forget this. Obamacare functions because it's taxes collected from us, right? Taken from our pockets. But then, of course, COVID came around and the Democrats put an additional subsidy on top of the original one just to make it seem like it's affordable. And now that it's going to run out and people's healthcare costs are going to double or triple, they're freaking out and trying to come up with some type of method where they can, of course, not take the blame themselves. But what can they possibly do? Oh, blame Donald Trump. Nobody likes him, right? It's all his fault. Of course, the inconvenient truth is he was not president during the Obamacare era, and he was not president during the shutdowns when they actually passed all of these subsidies. So, of course, the problem is the whole thing reeks of Democrat, and no matter what they do, they can't wipe their stink off of it. And just on a side note, I do want to bring this up, right? Because you have Hakeem Jeffries out there saying that, oh, Donald Trump was able to find $40 billion for Argentina, but nothing for the American people. All right. So I do want to address this because it was a credit swap. Okay. And Scott Bessent actually came out and said, we actually made money on this deal. So I thought to myself, how in the world could we make money on this credit swap? So I decided to look up, the price of the Argentinian peso. Donald Trump bought $40 billion worth of Argentinian pesos. Okay. So the money didn't go away. We actually own it just in a different currency. And when Donald Trump bought it, it was the end of October. So we bought it probably for about, well, guess what the price is now? 0.00072 US dollars. So that means it went up in price about 4.3%. And we made about $5 billion off of this deal just by transferring our money and helping Argentina stabilize their currency after they had years and years and years of inflation rapidly rising over the hundreds of percents. So that doesn't sound like a very bad deal to me. But of course, Hakeem Jeffries is really concerned about Donald Trump not doing anything for the American people. Well, guess what? He already has his most favored favored nations policy in place, where, of course, what we're saying is, hey, pharmaceutical companies, we're not going to pay any more for drugs in this nation than they're paying in the UK, Canada, etc., right? Because we're tired of subsidizing all of these drugs to the rest of the world, which is essentially what's happening. Not to mention, we also have this novel idea from Donald Trump where the money isn't going to go directly to the insurance companies, but rather to an individual where they can, of course, shop around and hopefully get their own insurance. But that will, of course, require competition, something that Obamacare is severely lacking. So are there places we can improve? 100%. But of course, what are the solutions coming from the Democrats? Oh, just more and more of our tax dollars going to the same problem that's already been caused. Because obviously, that is how Democrats take care of all issues. They throw money at it. And funny how that just never seems to work. Things just get more bloated, more expensive, and we lose more and more of our good, hard-earned money. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.